everyone, and welcome back to another video. So first of all, if you watched my last video, you might be wondering, hey, why isn't this upload K-pop Nugudum Iceberg part 2? And the answer to that is that I'm busy. I'm nearing the end of my semester at my school right now, and I have 2 projects to work on, a couple of essays, and I have to wash my car tomorrow. There's a lot of things that I have to do. So right now we're just doing some filler lighthearted content because it's a lot easier to make and I still want to upload, so here we go. Alright, in today's video we are talking about things that every K-pop stan does. I think that title is pretty self-explanatory, right? So these are things that I could genuinely say that like 90% of K-pop stans do, but not like casual listeners who only listen to the music. No, we're talking about like full-fledged K-pop stans. You know, people like me and you who's watching content from a K-pop YouTube channel. Also, don't take anything that I say here too seriously. As I said, these are things that I think almost every K-pop stan does, so that means that even I do all of these things. You know, I'm just trying to be a little bit self-aware and also entertain you at the same time. So thanks for watching, and if you like the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the first section. Have negative bias. I think we all basically know that everyone does this, but we don't necessarily address it a lot. But I think we all know that it's true because it's just impossible to like every single K-pop group out there, you know? No matter what reason you have, no matter why, almost every single K-pop stan doesn't like some group, at least to a certain extent. I'm not saying that every single K-pop stan antis a certain group or like goes out of their way to harass a group and their fans, but I do genuinely think that every single K-pop stan who's pretty into K-pop doesn't like a certain group to a certain degree. You know, maybe a member of a certain group's fandom said something particularly nasty to you and it makes you view that person's favorite group in a negative light. Maybe a group releases music that you consistently think is kind of garbage and they get way more success than you think they deserve, which can easily make you become jealous because your favorite group might not have the same level of success. Or maybe they're just a survival show group and your favorite contestant from the show got eliminated. There are so many more reasons that you might not like a certain K-pop group, but if we talked about all of them, we would be here all day. So the main thing that I'm just trying to say is that it's literally impossible for everybody to like everybody, you know? Even if you like and stan 99 K-pop groups, which I kind of do if you look in my description, my stan list is ginormous, there's gonna be one K-pop group that you don't like, and that's totally fine. You probably shouldn't go out of your way to actively bash the groups that you don't like. I'm not condoning that kind of behavior, but I do think it's pretty healthy to acknowledge that you might have a negative bias against a certain group. It's not like it's ever gonna be a personal thing. You're never gonna meet these groups and become friends with them. So I just think it's good to have a little bit of self-awareness when it comes to groups that you do and don't like. So next up we have exaggerating, and I am a huge offender of this. You know, sometimes you might be talking with a fellow K-pop stan, you might be arguing with them, and you want to make a point, but the example that you have isn't strong enough. So you sort of, you know, you stretch the truth, and everybody does this. It doesn't just apply to K-pop stans. So many people around the world do this. But specifically referring to K-pop, you know, if I'm talking to my Revel Up friend, or if I'm arguing with them, and I say something like, Psycho is their worst title track, you know, I don't actually think Psycho's their worst. It's maybe bottom 5. You know, it can't be their worst when Zimzalabim and Happiness are right there. So when I say that Psycho is their worst title track, I'm more so just saying that I really don't like the song and I'm trying to piss off Sulkyology, you know? But like, I only do that to my friends. I'm not actually evil, you know? That did not sound convincing. Okay, I'm not evil, guys, I swear. Just trust me, okay? Their best is still Bad Boy, by the way, or maybe Russian Roulette. And that's not an exaggeration. I've definitely done this, but like in a positive way on my channel before too, just to kind of see what people would say in my comment section. In a couple of my past videos, I've said for Twice and Red Velvet that More and More and Rookie are their best title tracks respectively. And I mean, that's just obviously not the case when things like Yes or Yes, Feel Special, Fancy exist for Twice, and Bad Boy, Russian Roulette, and Peekaboo for Red Velvet. But it was really interesting and enjoyable to see people talk about that in my comment sections. You'll see that even when you have an opinion that to you is exaggerated and not completely true, some people will agree with that exaggerated opinion. And I guess I just love seeing the diversity of what people think about a certain group's music, or their feelings on a particular song. Especially now though, I rarely do this on my channel. I usually just say exactly how I feel, because then it's a lot easier to actually figure out what I want to say for these videos because it's just what I actually think. But every once in a while there is a bit of a social experiment, so stay on the lookout for those. So third, we have repeating the same jokes that people have been using on Stan Twitter for months now, and I am a very, very bad offender of this. But I'm so serious when I say if I see one more person on Stan Twitter say he's just like me for real when talking about an idol, I am going to scream. But honestly, I can't even be upset because I do the exact same thing so much. And that's because it's hard. It's hard to think of original jokes, it really is. And like, why make new jokes when the classics still work so well? You know, screaming, crying, throwing up. Blank, you will always be famous. And especially like touch grass, that's still one of my favorites. These jokes have not aged a day because they still work the way they were intended to when they were created. Like, the same Twitter stands still need to touch grass 5 years later. The same people are still crying and throwing up 5 years later. Like, I do not see these jokes, these little catchphrases that K-pop stands use going away anytime soon. And even if like me and the other people who are involved in stan Twitter right now aren't in it 15 years from now, they might be saying the exact same things that we did. And finally, we have changing their mind. And this is something that I wanted to talk about because people don't really seem to understand that K-pop stans, especially like K-pop YouTubers, do this. I don't know about the rest of you, but for groups that I stan, especially popular ones, I make like different rankings of title tracks every week. Someone will ask me on one of my live streams or on Twitter or on Discord, what are your top 5 favorite Twice title tracks? And every single time I answer, it's usually a different combination. And not always, but sometimes people will say something like, but last time you said blank was number 1 and blank was number 5 and this wasn't even in the top 5. It's because my mind changes. You know, sometimes I eventually come around to a song that I absolutely hated at one point. Or maybe a group that I thought really highly of at one point, their music kind of ages badly for me and I might even end up unstanning. I won't go out of my way to let everybody know that this happened, but if somebody asks me, yeah, I'll totally tell the truth. And I guess I just wanted to say that you can't really hold me accountable to things that I've said in the past if the things that I said, first of all, weren't that important, such as just what I thought about a song, and second of all, if I can't even remember the thing that I said myself. Sometimes people will remind me of such a minuscule thing that I said in a video so long ago and I'm like, how do you remember this? And I just want to remind people that people change their minds. They don't think one thing and then stick to that thought for the rest of their lives. You know, their thoughts change. I don't know what else to say. Like, their thoughts change. Let people change their minds about certain situations. And that concludes this video. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for watching. There's going to be a few more kind of low effort videos like this in the future. My next couple of weeks are looking pretty stressful and I just am not going to be able to put out the most high quality content that I've ever done on my channel, but I'm going to try my best to put out consistent content and make sure that it's at the very least entertaining, so I hope you all can appreciate that. Thank you all so much for watching my video. Once again, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, I'll see you all next time. See ya.